Once you've watched this very essential video, you know everything important about Photoshop layers, layer masks, how to link them to a layer, and the global effects they bring. At last, you will be discovering or revising luminosity masks, their structure, their qualities and types, but also how they control the layers they are applied on. Well, let's embark without further delay and dive into the world of masks.
The layer is the main entity in Photoshop. They are of different types, effects, and structures. Here, this is a simple layer. Its kind is called normal. All layers have the representation of an eyeball. It is actually a toggle button. It allows the user to hide and show the content of the layer. We would like to point out that if Photoshop has nothing to show of an image, entirely or partly, it translates that void with a white and light gray checkered surface. Now, it is possible to add a layer mask to a layer. An easy-to-do action by simply clicking the button Add a Layer Mask. This mask shows up as a white rectangle. Because it is white, it does not mask anything. It is actually why you did not see any change on the screen. On the other hand, if we invert this mask by pressing Ctrl+I on PC or CMD+I on Mac, it turns to black because black is the opposite of white in the world of the layer masks. As a result, the content of the layer showing in the workspace is now hidden, the same way it happened when we switched the eyeball icon. To directly apply a black mask to a layer, we hold down the Alt key and press the Add Layer Mask button. In this file, we now have two layers, being a stack of layers. It is the combination of the two layers that makes the appearance of the final image. In a Photoshop stack, the top layer always covers the ones below. Here, the A is covering the part left empty on the right-hand side of the eye. In this other file with 3 layers, the red eye is covering its black fella and changes the overall image appearance. A layer can be moved anywhere else in the stack and thus may modify the final image, like here by drag and dropping the black eye at the top of the stack. In this new example, the top layer hides the bottom one. This is actually what we can call the effect that this first layer applied on the second one, it conceals. Now, we will be analyzing what is happening when we apply different masks to the top layer. Let's start with a white mask. No effect at all from an overall image point of view. As white reveals in layer masks, it allows the top layer is applied on to entirely show up. It means that white gives all its power to the effect it has control on. Now, with a black mask. We hold down the Alt key and press the Add Layer Mask button. This time, the representation of the top layer is completely masked. From the overall image point of view, we only see the content of the bottom layer. The other basic rule with layer masks. Black conceals. It means that black entirely hides the effect it has control on. Let's now mix the effects. First, we're going to draw a selection of the top layer's left half. By doing so, we are telling Photoshop that this is the important area to us, but we want to ignore the unselected half part. Once it's done, we press the Add Layer Mask button. The created mask corresponds to what we were waiting for. It reveals the left part with white and masks the other half with black. The overall image is the combination of the two layers, the left half of the top layer on the left-hand side, the right half of the bottom layer on the right-hand side. To get deeper into the Luminosity Masks philosophy, we will create a mask giving us a result close to this last image, but showing gradual transition between the two halves. It is actually very simple to do so. We add a white layer mask to the top layer. Then, we apply a horizontal gradient from white to black, whose transition is based on the whole scale of grays. Switching from an image to the other shows that the areas near both the left and right sides are quite the same. However, the center has changed to a smooth transition from the representation of a layer to the other. As a conclusion, we knew that white reveals and black conceals. At present, we're learning that the grayscale brings its own effect in. Gray conceals proportionally to the intensity of its tone. Light grays tend to reveal an effect. Here, the A keeps a dark hue, and the background remains close from the orange. However, the colors from the layer underneath start to filter through due to the influence of the light gray mask to the layer is applied on. Dark grays are inclined to conceal an effect. The A has turned to an orange, and the background shows a dark hue. That confirms a large amount of the bottom layer's hues are filtering up due to the effect of the dark gray mask applied on the top layer. By turning the bottom layer invisible, we can see that the dark gray mask, close to black, leaves the representation of the top layer nearly transparent. With a light gray mask, the representation of the layer is much more solid, with a quasi-non-existent transparency. In photography, we actually never deal with images free of tonal and light gradients like in the examples we worked on. It is why the image currently on the screen is closer to photographic reality. It shows shades of light and colors in many places of its representation. Let's say that we would like to combine those two layers using a mask applied on the top layer. The result we aim should reveal the bright parts of the top layer, but conceal the dark ones with gradients of yellow coming from the bottom layer. The easiest way to achieve such effect is to control the combination of the layers with Luminosity Masks. The mask we want to use must help to reveal bright parts of the layer is applied on, so it has to be picked in the brights type. Let's have a look at brights 1. Indeed, to the bright parts of the top layer representation corresponds white or very light grays. It means that those parts are going to be fully or partially revealed under that mask influence. The dark parts of the top layer representation are facing black or shades of dark gray areas. So on the contrary, they will tend to be masked under that mask influence. Let's apply this mask. Yes, it fulfills our expectations. The combination of the layers reveal the bright parts of the top layer. Regarding the dark parts, black is covered with pure yellow, and to the dark grays correspond shades of yellow. Equally for the orange hues, they are mixed with more yellow as they get darker. However, they remain nearly untouched in their brightest areas. In order to achieve the opposite effect, meaning that we want the dark parts of the top layer to keep showing and the bright ones to be concealed with shades of yellow. This time, let's analyze darks 1. To the dark parts of the top layer representation corresponds white or very light grays. It means that those parts are going to be fully or partially revealed under the influence of this mask. The bright ones, instead, are facing black or shades of dark gray. On the contrary, these areas will tend to be masked under the influence of this mask. Let's apply it. Once again, we're getting what was expected. The darkest areas remain black or dark grays. However, grays are mixing with shades of yellow as they are getting brighter. White is covered with pure yellow, and to the light grays correspond shades of yellow. Regarding the orange hues, the darker they are, the more they tend to reveal. The brightest shades of orange are gradually turning to yellow. Last effect. Say that we would like to keep displaying only the areas of midtones of light and gradually mask the bright and dark parts with shades of yellow. Midtones 4 is the perfect luminosity mask for this exercise. With black and dark grayscale, it prevents both the corresponding brights and darks from being displayed. With white and light grayscale, it allows midtones to show up, such as the corresponding grays in the middle of the background's gradient. Much of the corresponding shades of orange will reveal as long as they remain in the middle tones of light. The brightest ones will be gradually masked. Once the mask is applied, both the white and black parts are covered in pure saturated yellow. Then, as the bright and dark gradients are spreading towards the midtones of light, they reveal less and less shades of yellow. The center of the background's grayscale is highly revealed as it is pure midtones, as well as most of the shades of orange, which are also in the midtone spectrum. In conclusion, luminosity masks always give us a perfect control of the effect they are applied on, with smooth and natural transitions, and with a total respect of the shades of light of an image. It is why you will see editing photographs with luminosity masks keeps a natural rendering, and also allows us to bring back the entirety of the light information held in the core of an image. Through the following videos, we'll be diving into a complete editing workflow. Each step will be explained to you in detail in order to help you make your own choices when editing your pictures.